All right, guys, welcome back to the vlog. It's been a while. I just got back from vacation a little bit ago, and we already have the 3000 out in the driveway because today I'm going to be installing my new seats. I'm super hyped because I'm finally going to have a fixed back. I'm going to have a harness, a real harness, and I no longer have to use my factory seat belts at the track. My seating position will be lower. I won't have to worry about headroom as much, and yeah, it's just all around going to be better. I had the Sparco R100s in the car. They were a reclinable with higher bolsters and the stock seating, and I liked them, but for track use, I was kind of pushing the limits of the seat as far as having to use my stock seatbelt because it wasn't a fixed back, and just it sat higher than the stock seats, and I wasn't too crazy about that. So my head, I would have to like slouch in the seat for my head to not hit the ceiling. So these new fixed back seats will give me plenty of adjustability height-wise with the seat, forward and backward with the seat, and then it'll be fixed and mounted to the car. And then I'm gonna have a 5-point harness that is SFI certified, so I'll be able to use my harness at the track. So what I have to do first is modify the brackets for the car to work with the new seats. All right, so inside the driver's side here, we have our 4 mount points. On a 3000, the 2 front ones are studs with nuts, and the 2 back ones are bolts. So my Wedge brand adapter brackets that I use for my Sparcos, they were already fitted to this. I had to elongate, I think, that hole a little bit. It didn't fit perfectly, but basically what I'm gonna be doing is adapting the wedge brackets, so drilling holes in the wedge bracket so that I can put the side mount brackets for the new seats on. Things I'm gonna have to look out for is clearance with this corner. If need be, I can chop it off on the handbrake bracket here. And then afterwards, I'm gonna have to measure, and we're gonna be dropping the main hoop here, my Cusco cage, to get a harness bar attached and welded in to the other side so I can mount my 5-point harnesses in permanently. So these wedge brackets are made specifically for Sparco seats, so these pre-drilled holes match up perfectly with the bottom of a Sparco seat. However, I no longer have a Sparco seat, and I'm going to be using side rails and actually getting rid of the sliders. So these 2 holes I'm drilling for front and back adjustability, and this 1 hole here and 1 hole here I'm drilling. And once I get these guys drilled out, I'll show you guys how it lines up with the side rails. So I got these holes drilled out. I'm gonna go inside and see how they match up with the brackets. All right, so I figured I'd show you guys the seats that I got. I got these Energy Innovations. These are the FRP 301s. So the 301s have some fake leather here and here on the bolstering, as opposed to the suede that they come with. So it's a little more durable getting in and out of the car. I've heard from some people that when they get the suede ones, it wears and it'll wear through and tear because it's kind of a thin material. So the leather should definitely hold up a little bit longer with getting in and out of the car. And now I'll show you, flip it over here, what I'm working on. And that would be lining these holes up. So these 2 frontward holes lined up, and this guy lined up. So I'm gonna throw a bolt in there just to hold my spot. This guy did not line up. So I'm gonna drill another hole that lines up with this slot. So it'll give me a point of adjustment over here, and that one will line up. So now we got 4 holes that match up, and I'm gonna tighten them down, pull the seat off the brackets, tighten them fully. Then we're gonna put the thing in the car and see where it sits. All right, guys, it is so hot out here today, but I'm sitting in the car in an NRG seat. Now, it's rough mounted. I've been going back and forth, making some changes to the brackets and drilling a couple holes and things like that. And it feels like it's in a pretty good position. I like how I definitely have more headroom. I'm gonna grab my helmet and put it on and see how much more I really have when I'm sitting, up straight in the seat. And it definitely puts me lower in the car, which I like. It's kind of like how the factory seats used to be. If anything, maybe a little bit lower. The only issue is that it did not clear my handbrake plate here. So I unbolted it, slid it all the way forward, and you know, it's gonna have to come back, but there's a good chance I'm gonna have to take the whole thing out and cut this section off of the plate, the little excess piece there, and it'll probably be a good time for me to paint the plate because I never painted it and it's starting to corrode a little bit just from it being raw steel. But I like this seating position here. I can press the pedals easily, clutch all the way down, like without extending my leg too far. My hands on the steering wheel, my arms are still at a 90-degree angle. But yeah, so I think I like this. I like the way it feels, the way it's set up. I could always come up one notch in the back more. The front of the seat is bottomed out, but I can come up one hole in the back here if I wanted to. All right, so helmet fitment is a little better. Not the best still. I'm still kind of hitting, and it's kind of annoying. But this is really as low as I can go with this seat. The only thing that I think I want to change is to shift the seat more inward toward the inside of the car. Doesn't seem like I'm perfectly centered. I feel like I'm a hair to the outside of the car, but that's why all the holes and stuff are slotted, so I can make that change. But I mean, seating position wise, this is good. Helmet, still have decent clearance. I'm not hitting my head, you know, sitting upright like this. If I go over to the side, you can see where I'm hitting it on the curvature of the headliner. All right, so here we have the NRG seat mounted up inside of the car. Like I said, I'm gonna have to cut that bracket to be way slimmer, and then we should be good otherwise. I'm gonna try and shift it next time I have it out. Again, it's like barely off center, so it's not something that's gonna bother me. But yeah, I'm a fan. It all worked out, and next we'll be figuring out where to mount harness locations. All right, so I just ran to the store and got some cutoff wheels to the Dremel. I gotta make a little slice in the bracketry there. After I pull the seat back out, this is what it's doing outside right now. It is downpouring. So I closed the garage over, and I'll be able to knock this stuff out in here, and then I'll grab the other bracket. I'm just gonna mirror the other bracket, basically what we did on this bracket, to the other bracket so I can get the passenger side mounted in. Then I'm gonna have to figure out about how to cut that handbrake plate, and then we're gonna start figuring out mounting the harnesses. Something that's new to me is mounting a side mount seat in the car. And the first time I did my Sparkos, they were a bottom mount seat. It was still something new to me, and thankfully they had sliders on them so that I could mount the back bolts and then slide the seats back over them, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to get to those bolts with the seat. So I ran into the issue here because I needed this seat to be back far. So I had to figure out a way to get the inside back corner bolt secured. Side one is also easy because it hangs out over the side mount. It was this corner that was hard. So since the bracket held, like, swung over top of it, the bolt was too long that I couldn't get it under there like that. So I basically came to the conclusion that I cut one of these like rungs out, and I'm gonna put this whole thing in the car, tighten the bolt down, and then I should be good as far as accessing it and getting the whole bracket secured. Then I just lay the seat down, and I have enough room on each side of the seat to put the Allen bolts in to secure the seat. All right, so we are mounted in. That was what I meant by being able to mount the bolt. We should be good. We're gonna have to mark a spot to drill a hole somewhere. Probably gonna cut this patch of carpet out so that I can find a hole to mount the 5th point of the seat in. and then we'll just lay the carpet back in place. And then we're also gonna have to find a spot on the tunnel here and drill a hole for the other side of the harness. I thought I was gonna be able to use the bracket over there, but I'm actually not gonna have room. In true summer fashion, that just passed. And this is on its way. So I won't have to stop right now. I'll be able to continue working. Like I said, driver's side is mounted. Now I have the passenger side right here. So this guy, I'm going to have to kind of do the same thing, but I'm gonna line it up and ultimately try and get a rough idea to mark out where I gotta drill the holes, so I'll have something to go off of. So I got some holes marked out here, 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 and here. So I'm gonna drill them up and see where that puts me. All right, so that's the final mount position of the seat. I just laid the harness in here to try and get an idea of what it'll look like. So it looks like I'll be able to use the factory anchor for the seatbelt. I'm gonna remove the factory seatbelt finally, and I'll anchor this in here, and it'll put it at the proper angle for the harness to be at. Fifth point, we're gonna have to measure and drill a hole in the floor for. And then over here, at this point, we're gonna have to go to the tunnel, also drill a hole for it at the proper angle. And like I said, I'm gonna be taking this guy out and having my buddies over at Dominion Performance and Fabrication weld me on a harness bar. That harness bar will wrap around the seat, go all the way over to the passenger side, and it will allow me to properly mount the harnesses. We should be good there. So yeah, this all looks pretty good. Now I just need to do the passenger side and get that in, and should be able to then move forward with marking and drilling holes. So here is our passenger seat. And it's gonna be the same deal as the driver's side, some trial and error. Hopefully I got those holes marked out where I need them to be, and we'll get this thing in. So I'm gonna jump back when they're all installed. It's the next day, we're back at it. It rained again last night, so that was my stopping point. But I've done some measuring here. So as you can see, I draped the harnesses over my strut bar just to get an idea of what they would look like coming back. Obviously they're not gonna go back that far because I have my Cusco roll bar here. And this I'm going to have a harness bar welded into. So it'll basically be welded right here and then go back about 3 inches and loop around to the other side. So I had to do some measuring. So the safe technique to mount a shoulder harness in a car is to have the harness mounted at 0 degrees or within 10 degrees downward. Now I've seen people mount their harnesses down to the floor, down to the back seats. It's not safe. That's kind of just a recipe for spinal compression if you do get into an accident. And I've also seen people mount them like up higher and like have their harness bar up here and then have it the harness go up, and it's not a safe setup. So you're supposed to have the harness be either straight with the seat or at a 10-degree angle, no more. So basically what I did is I measured from across the top of the hoop here over to here, and that's where my top is, and then here to here is my bottom. So basically I want to try and have it at 0, and to do that the bar will have to be welded somewhere in between here. So basically if they weld it like at the top and then have like at the top of the tube welded here and then go down, then it'll be perfect. And then I also figured out how far back I would have to go, and basically I came up with 3 inches for the roll bar to like come back and loop around, so it gives us enough space to tie the straps up. So then I basically just went over to the other side, measured that out as well. It all lines up. This seat sits a tiny bit higher than the driver's seat. That's just a 3000 GT thing, how they mount to the floors. And this seat, the harness bar will sit a tiny bit lower, but it'll still be within that 10% range, which is fine, it's safe. And then down here, we're going to use the factory anchor for the seatbelt. That mounts down in there because that puts the harness here at the proper angle as well. And then we're gonna have to drill the holes for the 5th point and for the left side, or the inside lap belt. So next what I'm doing is just unbolting all these bolts. I'm gonna get this roll bar pulled out now that it's all marked up, and we're gonna drop this off, I think tomorrow, over at Dominion. And there you have it. The roll bar is officially out. Almost the whole interior is out at this point. Even though I didn't show you guys a super complete image of the seats in the car, you kind of got the idea. But we got them mounted, we got them all situated. Next step is just the harness bar, and we're gonna do a video about proper harness mounting when we get the harness all mounted into the car. Steph's probably gonna have to help me out with that one because it might be more of a 2-person job, but we will see. Thank you for watching, guys. Like the channel, subscribe, or like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we have some more coming. I'm doing an event next week. So Saturday, this car is gonna be all back together and we're driving. So I ordered a helmet mount for my camera, or for my action cam. So hopefully that'll give me some better quality video from inside the car. And I don't really know how it's gonna work, but it's gonna be a trial for me. And I'm really excited to finally drive again. And as far as the vibrations go in the rear, I'm just gonna put a different set of axles in and maybe clock the drive shaft a little bit and see what happens. If it's still vibrating, I'm still gonna drive anyway. Maybe we'll break something, maybe we won't. But thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.